Hello there guys, and welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding Histon. And coming up in today's video, we have got a FA Trophy first round match at home against one of our former rivals in the division below, Oxford City. Before we get into that game, as always, let's take a look and see what's been happening since you were last with us, which was the unfortunate 2-1 defeat against Salford City, in which we finished the game with 9 men. We then had a 0-0 draw away against Gainsborough. Now, to be honest, I think it was actually a point gain in the end, because Gainsborough were just behind us in the league, and the fact that we had a couple of players that were out with suspensions, etc., with the whole the two sendings off in the last game. We did pick up another sending off though, with William Gregory being sent off for a second bookable offence right at the end of the game. Didn't affect us too much though in terms of the result, but the two on-target chances that we did have were opportunities for us to steal the game and take the 3 points. But I would say in the end a 0-0 draw was fair enough in terms of the overall look of the game. Looks like we were kind of frustrating them based on the number of fouls that we were committing. I think maybe primarily just to disrupt their bit of play at home. So yeah, I think we came out of that with a draw, but unfortunately we picked up another fine with all these yellow cards that we're picking up. So we've got to start cracking down on these annoying things. However, despite that, we managed to finally get back to winning ways for the first time since mid-October, with a 2-1 victory against FC United of Manchester. Really good performance from us in this particular game. Mbunga with a score after 37 minutes. Recombe Harper then equalised before James Difford scoring the winner coming off the bench, which was absolutely fantastic on his return from his little suspension he had after being sent off. Really important win. It finally ensured that we got back to winning ways in the league and put a little bit of breathing space between ourselves and the rest of the chasing pack in the playoff race. Unfortunately though, we undid all that hard work with a 1-0 defeat at home to Braintree, a team that has been fighting relegation. But the only thing I could say is the fact that the manager recently got sacked, and therefore this was their first game without that manager, and therefore of course they would probably win the game. They scored from the penalty spot through Peter Skapitas, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I can't remember. I don't know exactly how you pronounce his name off the top of my head, but yeah, unfortunately, that again a bit of a dull game based on the stats. But again, that one shot on target that we had could have been the opportunity for us to take the lead. But unfortunately, in this case, Braintree took their one shot on target, which was the penalty, and ensured that they took all 3 points from this particular match. We then followed that up with a narrow 1-0 victory away against Torquay in the previous round of the FA Trophy, the third qualifying round, to ensure that we actually get to the first round of the FA Trophy for the first time, I think, in this save. I'll quickly check that on the schedule after we've had a quick look at this. Mbunga scoring the only goal of the game, but based off the chances, Torquay should have really got back into the game and actually won this match. So kind of got away with one, but finally, at least we got a bit of karma after the last game where we lost to Braintree. So unfortunately, it was Torquay that was on the receiving end of that, but one of those things. And also we gave a debut to one of our new keepers, Ryan Schofield. We'll talk through the transfers we've actually made since the last video, so I've made a couple of deals, some players coming in, some players going out as well. And then we followed that up with a home victory against Coventry United, who are bottom of the league. I thought we were going to bottle it completely after Coventry United managed to somehow get back into the game after we took the lead and opened the 2-goal lead up through Sam Joel and Mbunga scoring from the penalty spot, before Masanka and the Bird equalised for Coventry. Harris then scored a screamer to make it 3-2 before Mbunga wrapped up the points at the end of the match to ensure that we came out with a 4-2 victory against the team that's bottom of the league. Really important that we didn't drop points against a team such as this if we want to keep our playoff push going. And then we followed that up for the last game before this match against Oxford City with a 3-2 victory against Alfreton, the other team that I was considering actually doing as a live com until this home match came up in the FA Trophy. We won this game 3-2, as you can see. Unfortunately, we did lose the lead through Akwasi Asante opening the scoring for Alfreton. Difford then equalised before Mbunga scoring 2 minutes later. Wilson then equalised for Alfreton before Difford scoring after 1 minute later, which turned out to be the winner. Based on the chances, a very even game, could have gone either way, but I'm happy that we were on the winning side in this particular game. Really important to try and get a good run of form going as we head up through towards the middle of the midway point of the season, and if we want to continue our little playoff push that we're on. And as I mentioned, speaking of playoffs, we are currently sitting in 4th place right now, 2 points clear of Boreham Wood, but 4 points behind Boston United. The big crucial thing is that we're 5 points clear of 6th place Kettering and 6 points clear of Gainsborough, who are just outside the playoffs. If we want to have a little minor flirtation or slash have a little go at getting promoted via the playoffs, this is a good spot to be in. Unfortunately, I don't think we're as strong as the teams in front of us, so I doubt we'll win the playoffs. It's probably going to be one of those, we're going to lose like we did in the couple of seasons ago, back in the tier below, before we actually won promotion last season. So we might have to spend another season down in the National League North before we get up to the another chance to get our promotion into the National League, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Right, I'll just take you through transfers that happened before we get into the match against Oxford City. In terms of players going out, quite a few players have gone out on loan, but the main ones that have been let go on a free transfer: Liam Tomzet, didn't see him really in my plans after the signings we've made. Luke Colquhoun, the goalkeeper, because we've now signed a new goalkeeper, and Carl Pritchard, who's not really getting game time because of the fact we've got quite a few players that can play at that attacking mid-left position in case injuries do get obtained at any point during the season, especially as the fact that we had that with Justin May earlier on. But let's go through the 3 players that I've brought in. Alex Simmons is an advanced forward who came in from Lincoln City. He had a loan spell with Oxford City last season, but only managed to score 2 goals in 4 appearances. Hasn't managed to score for us just yet, but he seems to be motivated based off his morale and player reaction that he wants to end that goal drought as soon as possible, and hopefully he can do that today against the team that he used to play for on loan last season. We then follow that up with a signing of a midfielder, Maziar Kuyar, who comes in from Walsall, who had a loan spell with Barrow a couple of seasons ago. 25 appearances for him. Didn't have the greatest of seasons, and averaging a 6.56. He's done alright so far, though, with 3 appearances, an average rating of 6.87. So he seems to be a really good signing so far. Hopefully he can continue this run of form that he's on, and that he'll be able to continue to help our team out in terms of the on the defensive side of the things. He's more of a ball-winning midfielder based off the stats, so he's actually taken this position of Callum Harris, and Callum Harris is alternating with Alfie Davison at the deep line playmaker role in our tactic. And the last thing we've brought in was a brand new goalkeeper, Ryan Schofield, he was aged 21 years old, coming in from Huddersfield on a free transfer. Had a couple of loan spells with Macclesfield, season and a half of experience. Had an okay start with his 12 appearances and 13 conceded. Then he had a full season on loan in 2018-19, conceded 54 out of 43 appearances, only having an average rating of 6.43. So far, though, he's had an average rating of 6.8 in the 2 appearances he has made, conceding 4 goals. I'm not going to play him today because I kind of want to keep Reece Bills happy, because he's been okay so far. Both goalkeepers so far have been really good. Ryan Schofield's been good. He's only played in 2 games. Reece Bills has been okay so far in his in the step-ups division, but he seems to be losing value. I think if we actually go to the squad, I think he's been declining a little bit. When I had a quick look at the stats, if the ordering of the substitutions was correct on the overall picked. Actually, no, he hasn't gone down at stats. I think I must have seen something somewhere. He said he's the leading player for most regional Premier Division sides, and there's nothing really to suggest that he can get better. Apparently, he's got 3-star potential ability, so I'm hoping that if we can continue to keep playing him throughout the season, hopefully he will continue to grow, and maybe we might get a little bit of money for him. You never know as we progress in the save. But that's enough of me rambling. Let's actually get on with the game against Oxford City. A little bit of a throwback to last season. Hopefully we can advance into the next round of the FA Trophy. Go on a little bit more of a cup run in this tournament compared to what we did in the FA Cup, where we were unable to reach the first round proper. We've managed to do so in this particular match. So I'm going to make one change, I think, to the starting 11. That's going to be Reece Bills starting in goal instead of Ryan Schofield, because I think Reece Bills deserves an opportunity to try and win back his goalkeeping starting position. So in terms of the team we're going for today, we've got Reece Bills in goal with a back four of Goddard, Burns, Taylor McKenzie and Kevin Carrillo. William Gregory was out injured, was suspended, but then he's now back, but unfortunately he's only on 90% conditioning, so I kind of want to save him for the league matches as we've coming up. We've got Kuyar in the midfield with Callum Harris, with Sam Joel and May on the wings, with James Tifford and Alex Simmons up front. On the bench we've got Schofield, Osborne, Davidson, Morford and Umbunga in case anything goes wrong on our end. So fingers crossed we can get through this match. The team is in the division below, but they are doing pretty well at the moment in their respective league. They are in the playoff hunt, so something we've got to keep an eye on, especially as the fact that we have played them quite a few times throughout the save already this season. If we can now get into the match as soon as possible, please. Right, okay, we're into the little pre-season prediction thing. Apparently I think we're favourites. Let's quickly go through and just do our standard tactics. Callum Guy is still at the club, so the ex-Derby player is actually still got a club, which is fantastic to see. I don't recognise anybody else though in their squad, so I'm hoping that doesn't come back to haunt us. Callum Guy, I don't know what tactic they're playing, but I will close him down just in case he is one of those deep line playmaker people that can prevent or create a lot of chances. Let's go for that and see if we can get some motivation going. Unfortunately, nothing happened in the overall team talk. A couple of players seem to have reacted really well in the positional team talks, which is fantastic. All the midfield doing really well, and also both strikers, which is really important. I'm also going to change that to attacking because we're at home. That seems to be my go-to thing, and it seems to pay off 9 times out of 10, unless we're playing against a team that's above us in the Football League pyramid or is above us in the league. As we now kick off the game, Oxford City kicking off from left to right here with Smith. Tried to feed it to Holsgrove, but he wasn't able to do so. Evans back to their number 6 midfield. I don't really know how to pronounce his name. Kuyar winning the ball well there in the midfield, as unfortunately Simmons though has lost out to the number 6 there. Carrillo then wins it back, which is it's a really long highlight here, and Simmons is now onto the ball. Can he score here off the opening chance? But unfortunately he's unable to pull the trigger before Walker manages to claim it, and that's the end of the highlights. Okay, we've got a highlight in the middle of on our end, I think, with Harris gets past the number 6 for Oxford City. He's taking the ball quite a long way. He's taking a shot, and it's just gone wide of the right-hand side of the goal. Didn't go down as a clear-cut chance though, but at least it's a highlight to talk about. Okay, I've got another highlight for us, I think. Carrillo is on this left-hand side, just inside the Oxford City half. Puts a ball in towards the box, but it's hit Canada off the crossbar somehow, and Difford wasn't able to take advantage of that. And we've now got an instant highlight off the throw-in that's happened after the Oxford City cleared it. Kuyar puts it in, and Difford's there, and I think he's either headed it or tapped it in, and it's 1-0 Histon here with after 35 minutes. I didn't see how many goals Difford has scored this season, but I will correct that next time I on the video itself by putting some sort of text or something. Okay, here is the highlight. Gollard with a throw-in out towards Kuyar, who then puts a ball in, and Difford's there to head it in front of the Oxford City defender, and Walker is unable to do anything about it, and it's 1-0 Histon. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I was good job I did say he could have possibly headed it, because that was a headed effort, and that has resulted in a goal. Okay, it's now half-time. Based on the stats, we're really in control of this game. I kind of like that second goal, though, if we can get that before in the second half, just to kill off any momentum that Oxford City might have coming out of the dressing room. The manager might give them a little dressing room blast here, especially the fact that they haven't really performed that well. They haven't had a highlight so far in this game. So if I just keep the team motivated as best as I can to ensure that we don't concede off the kickoff or anything like that very early on in the second half, and we can advance into the next round of the FA Trophy, it'll be absolutely fantastic to see if we can get a pretty nice tie in the second round, probably against maybe a National League side, maybe at home, try and get a little bit more money into the club. All those nice little things that a National League North club would like, especially a smaller one like ourselves. As we kick off now from left to right, Difford tries to get past defender, but he's pulled it back to Harris. He's got a lot of space on his midfield, but he unfortunately lost out, but Kuyar's managed to recover it. Harris again, got past the number 6 this time. Here's May, but it's cleared away by Lawrence, and now Fondue might have a chance, but Burns is in with a really good tackle to ensure that Fondue doesn't get on the end of that, and Bills is there to recover, and that's the end of the highlights. Okay, I've got another highlight here. Looks like Oxford City might have their first chance of the game here, or first highlight chance of the game. Kie in this midfield, just inside our half. Here's to Smith. Ball to Evans. He might take a shot here, as he has done, but Bills has managed to hold it onto it, but he's dropped it, and oh no, it's gone out for a corner. I thought the number 16 for Oxford was about to tap it in there, but Bills kept it, but then I think he must have gone out of play or something like that to ensure that the corner was called. As Sam Joel's now fouled number 5 for the Oxford City, and now they have a free kick, which Callum Guy will take, and Bills is equal to it and ensures that the scoreline stays at 1-0 with an hour gone in the match. Right, it's time for us to make a substitution, I think. Alex Simmons has just picked up a knock of some sort, so I might take him off, and also he's not having the greatest games at 6.6. Mbunga's going to come on, I think, and I'm also going to take off Kuyar because he's only on 72% conditioning. Let's get on Alfie Davidson just to shore up that midfield a little bit and ensure we've got some freshness in that on the pitch, especially the fact that Oxford City have already made all 3 of their substitutions. Okay, we've got a free kick from Reece Bills takes up towards Difford, but it's cleared away. But Joel's on this right-hand side now. It's closed down by 2 defenders here. Back to Davidson, the substitute. Here's Harris, who loses out to number 6. He seems to be losing out to that number 6 quite a few times this game. Upward, puts the ball towards Thomas. He might take a shot here. Bills is equal to it, though, and that is clear-cut chance number 2 for Oxford City. They've had more shots on target than us, considering the fact that they've had less shots in the game, but they've had 7 on target, and they haven't yet to capitalise on any of them. The fact that it seems like we have got more shots, but we're not being clinical enough, and our goal didn't go down as a clear-cut chance. So it looks like Oxford City coming back into the game here. I'm not particularly liking this performance in this second half. Carrillo puts the ball up towards nobody in particular, and now I thought Oxford City were going to have another break here, but Bills has now cleared it up towards Mbunga, who's now got a bit of space, plays it to Difford, but it's too long. But he somehow managed to get it back, and here's Joel on his right hand side. He might cross it towards Mbunga, and he has done, and it's 2-0. Really good clinical goal there, and that apparently hasn't gone down as a clear-cut chance again, which is interesting. But yeah, that's the fine margins in this particular match. Oxford City, more shots on target, but failed to take advantage of them. And Joel with a nice ball in, and Mbunga with the header, and it is 2-0. And the goalkeeper, for some reason, is in no man's land there, and it looks like we're going to be advancing into the second round with just 10 minutes remaining and a 2-goal cushion, which is fantastic. Right, one more final substitution that we're going to make as we enter the last couple of minutes. Taylor McKenzie I'm going to take off and bring on Harry Osborne, just to give Taylor McKenzie a little bit of a rest and ensure that he doesn't pick up any yellow cards or anything like that, or any injuries, etc. Okay, we're entering the last 30 seconds of the match. Walker pulls the ball up towards the right-hand side of Oxford City. Kay puts the ball, again, a hopeful ball, I think, towards the strike force, but we've mopped it up. Reece Bills will now hold on to it, and they'll hoof it upfield up towards Mbunga, who heads it down towards May. We might have a chance of scoring a third here with just 5 seconds remaining. Ball was played in, but Edwards was there first, and he's cleared it away. And there it is. That's full time. We've won this game 2-0. Bit annoyed that that second goal didn't go down as a clear-cut chance. So it was a bit of a poor start to the second half, but that second goal ensured that we got this victory, which is really, really important. George Burns getting player of the match, thoroughly deserved, considering the fact we got a clean sheet out of the game. Absolutely fantastic stuff from majority, all the team. All of them have done pretty well. The only probably negative one was probably Alex Simmons again, who still hasn't managed to score for us. A little bit concerning the fact that I've paid a little bit of money in terms of his wages to get him in, to try and ensure that we get more goals in the team, and that hasn't come to fruition. We kind of need some goals, especially as we're playing Bishop Auckland, who are currently sitting top of the league, and we're playing them away from home. So maybe it will be a more of a defensive game we might have to take and just smash and grab or whatever. We'll have to wait and see on that front. Let's actually go to the draw of the FA Trophy second round. Alright, sorry I had to cut away there. Unfortunately, the recording decided to randomly stop after I'd done the FA I was about to do the FA Trophy draw. But as you can see right there on the top of the screen, we are going to be playing away from home either against Barwell, who are in the Northern Premier Division, currently sitting second in that tier, or FC Halifax, who are in the Vanarama National, are currently sitting in 19th. So it'll be an interesting tie, I think, depending on whoever we get, but considering the fact that FC Halifax aren't doing the greatest in terms of their league position. As you can see, they're only 2 points clear of the relegation zone, and Barwell are doing well in the division below. So it could be quite an interesting tie. So I'm really looking forward to that. Maybe that might be the next live com. We'll have to wait and see on that front. But in terms of what game to do next, I mean, I could have done I've done this as a double live com with Bishop Auckland away because of the fact that they are the league leaders. But the fact that I think we're quite far behind them already, I think it wouldn't make much sense to do it now unless we manage to somehow close the gap. So maybe if we get later on into the season, as for example, if we are right behind them at say the end of the season, we would definitely do the Bishop Auckland game, the home game. So I'm not going to do that game. I'm going to do a game somewhere in the middle of January, midpoint to end of January. So either the FA Trophy match, which is actually replaced this Southport, which will actually replace the Southport game, or the Southport game following that match. But yeah, it's going to be one of these games around this sort of time. Maybe Southport gets rearranged to the midweek, so we end up doing that game instead. Or I might actually do Kettering at home, who are just behind us in the league right now, and also it would be a nice, interesting to see how far we've come since we last played Kettering about 3 seasons ago. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. The fact that we managed to get a victory in a live com is absolutely fantastic, and now we're on a 4-game winning streak. I probably jinxed it there, and the fact that we're probably going to lose away at Bishop Auckland, but I'm hoping we can get at least a draw out of that match just to see if we can continue our little unbeaten run that we've now gone on. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you've got any feedback or anything like that you can give me, that would be greatly appreciated. So as long as it's constructive feedback, not just saying, "Oh, you could do better. You could do better." I kind of want to get an opinion or a perspective of how I could do better, etc. So I'll be interested to hear if there's anything else I can definitely improve on. I will try and implement that into the rest of the videos. But until then, I hope I'll see you next time, which will be for a game somewhere around mid-late January. So until then, see you later.